Most Jeep owners buy the wrong battery without even realizing it. And the problem isn't the brand. It's that most batteries are designed for normal cars, not vehicles that bounce down trails, run winches, and sit for weeks between drives. Today I'm breaking down the 3 worst and 4 best batteries you can put in a Jeep. Worst. Number 3. Die-Hard Silver. Die-Hard used to mean something back when Sears was still a household name, and a lot of Jeep owners buy the Die-Hard Silver based purely on that old reputation. But Sears went bankrupt, the brand got passed around to new owners, and quality control dropped hard along the way. You can grab one at Advance Auto Parts for around $140 to $165, and it fits most Wranglers and Cherokees using the standard Group 48 size, which is why people keep picking it up without thinking twice. The real problem starts with the 700cc rating, which is simply too low for what Jeep engines demand. Try cranking a 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 on a cold January morning in Colorado, and that 700cc will give you nothing but a slow, painful groan that every Jeep owner dreads. Reserve capacity sits around 100 minutes, and that sounds decent until you realize leaving your lights on at camp for a couple hours means you are walking back to a dead battery with no way to recover. Internally, the Die-Hard Silver uses thinner plates than its gold and platinum siblings, which saves on manufacturing cost but wrecks the battery's ability to handle repeated charge and discharge cycles. For any Jeep running a winch, rock lights, or a CB radio, this battery will be overwhelmed before you even hit the trailhead. But the Die-Hard Silver is not the only battery fooling Jeep owners with a name that sounds better than it actually performs. Worst. Number 2. Duralast Gold. Every AutoZone employee in the country will push the Duralast Gold on you the second you walk through the door, and on paper, it does look like a solid pick. It runs between $170 and $210, carries an 850cc rating on most Jeep group sizes, including Group 48 and Group 34, and comes backed by a 3-year free replacement warranty. That gold label on the front does a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to making you feel like you bought something premium. But once you start pulling real data from Jeep owners, the story changes fast. Duralast Gold batteries come from Johnson Controls, the same massive company that produces batteries for dozens of brands, and quality control across all those brands is wildly inconsistent. One batch might last 4 years with 0 issues, and another batch from a different plant might start dropping voltage at 10 months. Jeep forum threads are full of owners posting voltage test results that show these batteries losing 15 to 20% of their rated CCA within the first year alone. What really kills this battery in Jeep applications is the vibration resistance, which barely passes the minimum rating for highway driving and falls apart completely under trail conditions. Standard grid plates sit inside instead of the reinforced AGM construction that off-road vehicles actually need, and every rock, rut, and washout is slowly shaking those plates loose from the inside. Now, if you thought the Duralast Gold was bad for Jeeps, this next battery might be the single most common mistake Jeep owners make at the parts counter. Worst. Number 1. Everstart Max. Everstart Max from Walmart is one of the most purchased car batteries in the country, and that massive popularity is exactly why so many Jeep owners end up with one under their hood. Priced between $120 and $160 for the Group 48 and Group 34 sizes that fit most Wranglers, Gladiators, and Grand Cherokees, it looks like an absolute steal, and for a Honda Civic or a Camry that never leaves pavement, it works perfectly fine. But Jeeps are not commuter cars, and that is where the Everstart Max completely falls apart. This is a standard flooded lead-acid battery, which means the internal plates are sitting in liquid acid that sloshes freely every time you hit a rock, climb a steep incline, or bounce through a washout. That constant movement shakes the plates loose over time, and once plate material starts collecting at the bottom of the case, your battery is living on borrowed time. Owner data pulled from JL Wrangler forums shows an average real-world lifespan of just 18 to 24 months for anyone who does even moderate off-roading, compared to the 3 to 5 year rating printed right on the box. Cold cranking amps start at a respectable 750 CCA, but that number drops by nearly 30% after just one harsh winter. One JL owner in a Moab trail group reported his Everstart Max died completely at 14 months, and the battery was so swollen from heat it barely came out of the factory tray. Walmart makes warranty replacements easy, but swapping a dead battery every 1.5 years is not a solution. It is a pattern of failure. So those are the 3 batteries that will let your Jeep down exactly when it matters most. Now that you know what to avoid, these next 4 are the ones that actually earn their spot under the hood. Number 4. ACDelco Professional AGM. ACDelco Professional AGM flies under the radar in the Jeep community because it has no flashy marketing and no cult following. And that low profile is a shame, because the performance numbers tell a completely different story. Their 48 AGM and 34 AGM options fit the vast majority of Wranglers, Gladiators, Cherokees, and Grand Cherokees, putting out 760 cold cranking amps with a 120-minute reserve capacity at a price between $200 and $240 that undercuts most of the competition. ACDelco serves as the OEM battery supplier for General Motors, which means every unit goes through factory-level quality control that most aftermarket brands simply cannot match. Calcium lead positive grid construction resists corrosion far better than traditional lead antimony grids, and that directly translates into longer life and more consistent voltage output. The AGM design keeps water loss at virtually zero, so you never have to pop the caps and add distilled water like you would with a standard flooded battery. For Jeep owners who want AGM reliability and vibration resistance without paying Optima or Odyssey prices, this battery sits in a value sweet spot that is genuinely hard to beat. A 36-month free replacement warranty and a 100-month prorated warranty stand behind every unit, and real-world reports from Jeep owners consistently show 4 to 5 years of solid performance, even with moderate off-road use and aftermarket accessory loads. And if ACDelco is the best value pick on this list, this next battery is what happens when you stop worrying about price and start building for pure power. Best, number 3, XS Power D3400. If your Jeep carries a winch, a full LED light bar, onboard air, a fridge, and communication equipment all running at once, the XS Power D3400 was built for exactly that kind of rig. Rated at a massive 1,000 cranking amps and 65 amp-hours of total capacity, this battery operates in a category that standard automotive batteries cannot touch. It fits Group 34 trays found in JK and JL Wranglers and will cost you between $300 and $360, which pays for itself the first time every accessory on your rig fires up without a voltage drop. Sealed AGM construction allows the D3400 to deliver extremely high current bursts without the voltage sag that kills cheaper batteries under heavy load. Both top post and side post terminal connections come standard, giving you install flexibility regardless of your specific tray configuration or cable routing. Total weight sits at 48 pounds, heavier than average, but that extra mass comes from thicker plates and denser internal construction that stores more energy and lasts far longer than lighter alternatives. Competition rock-crawling teams run this battery because it handles repeated deep discharge cycles without flinching, even when you pull a winch line 3 or 4 times in a single trail day. Recharge efficiency sits above 95%, meaning almost all the energy your alternator feeds in gets stored instead of wasting away as heat. But raw power is only part of the equation, and this next battery has been proving itself on the hardest trails in North America for over a decade. Best, number 2, Optima Yellow. Optima Yellow is probably the single most recognized aftermarket battery in the entire Jeep community, and that reputation was earned through years of real-world abuse on trails that destroy anything cheap. Their D34/78 model fits JK and JL Wranglers perfectly, delivers 750 cold cranking amps with a 120-minute reserve capacity, and comes in a completely spill-proof AGM design that you can mount at any angle without a single drop of acid leaking out. Pricing runs between $250 and $300, and at 4 to 6 years of heavy off-road lifespan, that breaks down to roughly $50 per year of reliable service. What separates the Yellow Top from a standard starting battery is the true dual-purpose design, meaning it handles both engine cranking and deep cycle accessory loads without losing performance on either front. Optima's spiral cell technology winds 2 lead plates tightly together with an absorbent glass mat separator, and that unique spiral construction delivers 15 times more vibration resistance than a conventional flat plate battery. Self-discharge rate stays extremely low, so you can park your Jeep for weeks between trail runs and come back to a battery with plenty of juice to fire right up. Rubicon runners, Moab crawlers, and Appalachian trail rigs have been trusting yellow tops for over a decade, and the failure rate among dedicated off-road Jeep owners remains one of the lowest in the industry. The Optima Yellow top would be the #1 pick on most battery lists, but the battery that took our top spot is on a completely different level, and it is the same one trusted by people whose lives literally depend on it. Best #1, Odyssey Extreme Series. Odyssey Extreme Series is the battery that people who absolutely cannot afford a dead vehicle put in their rigs, and that includes the United States military, emergency response fleets, and professional off-road racing teams. For Jeeps, the 34R-PC1500T fits JK and JL Wranglers, and the 48-PC1500 covers Gladiators and Grand Cherokees, putting out 850 cold cranking amps and a staggering 1,500 pulse cranking amps that deliver more starting power in the first 5 seconds of cranking than almost anything else on the market. Pricing runs between $280 and $340, and that number scares people off until they learn this battery can last 8 to 12 years with proper charging habits. What makes the Odyssey Extreme survive where everything else dies is the pure lead plate design, which is completely different from the recycled lead alloy plates found in cheaper options. Pure lead plates can be made thinner, so Odyssey packs more of them into the same case size, and more plates means more surface area, more stored power, and faster recharge times. A GM construction holds the electrolyte locked inside fiberglass mats pressed tight against every plate, leaving zero room for movement no matter how hard you bounce the rig. With a 400-cycle deep discharge rating, you can fully drain and recharge this battery over 400 times before capacity starts to fade, which is roughly double what most competitors offer. Winch users love the Odyssey Extreme because it handles a full, high-load pull without dropping voltage to levels that damage your electrical system, and it recharges back to full capacity 3 times faster than a standard flooded battery. That combination of raw power, durability, and recharge speed is exactly why it earned the #1 spot. What battery are you running right now? Tell me in the comments. And if you want your Jeep to last hundreds of thousands of miles, check out my Jeep longevity blueprint in the description below. Subscribe for more Jeep tips most owners never hear about. See you next time.